Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Modern Savvy CPA, and we are going to continue our series on bad money habits that businesses have and how to work on them, or how to make them better, how to recognize them. Because, you know, I believe in everything that once you recognize something, or once you know that this is how the way you are, that's the only way you can make it better. One of the other things that you need to look at is make sure that you're maintaining your equipment, so that if you're maintaining your equipment, that means it'll last you longer and it's ready, and then you won't have the financial hit of buying new equipment earlier. Or if something happens, if there's a disaster, that the equipment is properly maintained and it can be repaired. So you want to make sure you're doing that, you know. Analyze your essential business functions. So you want to make sure that you know what's important, what's negotiable, what's non-negotiable, which roles are the important roles that you know you need to have for short-term period. You know, that is going to help your business running short-term period, in a short-term period, so you can continue to have revenue. You can continue to maximize your revenue within your, you know, your limited period. You know, you want to have an emergency response plan. So, you know, go over your emergency response plan. You know, what are the routines that you're going to be doing? You know, what employees are going to be happening. You want to make sure that if you have employees, you have a workers' compensation plan, because if you get sued from your employee, that can cost you a lot more money. If you have workers' comp, that is one of the financial emergency plan that you have in case something happens there. Back up everything. When it comes to your data, you know, make sure everything is digitized, make sure it's backed up, make sure, you know, you have everything encrypted, you know, so if there's any power outages or floods or things like that, you have backup. Usually they recommend having backups in the cloud or in separate areas, a different place from where you are currently right now. You know, for example, when we have hurricanes, some of the stuff that the company I used to work for, their backup was in North Carolina. So if my internet was working, I was able to log in to our system and still work from home, even though the office did not have backup when we usually have hurricanes here. So down here in Florida, we try to have a contingency plan for all these things. You know, don't rely on individual people. Rely on your plan, rely on your systems. You know, yes, you want to make sure that you have people you have people within the backup plan, but don't rely on them alone. Make sure that you're looking into that. Make sure, like I've mentioned before, having the right insurance. Make sure that you are consulting your insurance provider and you are having the right insurance for your business, so you don't go bankrupt because something unforeseen happened and you get sued and you have no insurance to cover that part of your business, you know. The one of the main things I want you to think about is have an emergency fund. You know, just like you would have an emergency fund at home, you want to make sure that you have an emergency fund for your business that will cover your business expense. I like to keep my emergency fund in a money market that earns a good amount of interest, you know, that's earning some interest. So that's where my emergency fund for my business is. My emergency fund for my business and my emergency fund for my home or my personal is in a money market account that is earning between 4 and 5% of interest on it. So at least it's keeping up somewhat with the rate of inflation. One of the things that younger business owners, that I've learned from younger business owners and younger people that are paying attention to their finances, is they shop around for these money market accounts. The bigger banks are not doing that for us. So they shop around, they have smaller banks, they have smaller financial companies that are offering these money market funds money market accounts for good interest rate. So don't be stuck on one place. Shop around, look, do your investigation, look through things, educate yourself about what the market is. Our world is ever changing, and something that worked for you in 1995 when it comes to your finances, for example, the cash method of doing things, is not working in 2023 or 2025 and won't be working in 2030. So every few years, if you are smart and you want to be a successful business owner and maximize your profitability, you always have to be keeping up with the changing world, making sure that you are following the things that are happening in today's society, making sure that you are maximizing all of the benefits that we are given. I'm going to touch on this subject, which I don't usually touch in current events, but I definitely will start touching it. You hear everywhere about ChatGPT and AI, and everybody complains about that. Everybody complains, oh, it's going to take over this, it's going to take over that. When I first started accounting, they told me the computers was going to take over tax preparation and accounting. I am here to tell you that it's not taking it over. And because people are listening to this, the accounting field is going to end up does currently work people to death, because we do not have people that have done accounting or are in the market for accounting degrees. So that's number one. And because people thought computers was going to take over it. I am telling you, my tax program is wonderful, but it does not think for me. And if you have someone that just enters numbers in a tax program, it does not think for me. If I don't do my tax research, understand my codes, know what to include into these programs, whether it's my bookkeeping program, my tax research program, any of the computer things that are helping me to run my business or helping me with my profession, they are not a human being. And AI is great. AI is wonderful. You want to make sure that you're keeping up with that to help you, complement you, supplement you within your business. I do that, but it is not taking over the world. It is not taking over my business. You're still going to need human beings. You're still going to, yes, there are going to be situations where computer did take over some of the mundane things that we used to do with in the accounting and finance industry, but that does not mean that the industry is going away. We're always going to need human beings. So you want to make sure that you have, set up your plan and making sure that you're keeping up with all of the technologies that are involved today that could help you work when there's a disaster. I think that with COVID that just happened, we have come a far way with maximizing remote working and working from anywhere, where we're able to still be able to produce revenues while we're waiting for the disasters to be over, while we're working with these things. So I think because of remote working and because of this, the disaster and the pandemic of COVID, we were able to avoid a larger financial disaster when it comes to this, because we were able to somewhat modify our working environment and able to produce while we're going through these disasters. We were not prepared, but we were forced to be prepared. We saw many situations where the schools were not prepared to teach our kids remotely. So we weren't using the technology that we have to help us in case of these things happening, in case of something happening. So we need to be able to use this technology to help us to prepare for these prepare and prioritize with our disaster plans, so we can use that when it comes time when there is something that's an emergency, and we do not get disrupted from what we're doing, and we're able to still maximize our profit and not have as much expenses for our losses from what we're doing. So you want to make sure that that's you're using the technology. Don't be afraid of the technology. Don't think it's going to take us over. Just make sure that you are embracing our world and what it has to offer us. Of course, there's always bad that comes with the good, but everything that we do, even in any medication that we use, anything that we do, even if the food that we eat, there's bad and good that comes with it. You have to weed out the bad and make sure that you're using the good wisely. So when it comes to your disaster plans, that's what you need to do. You need to make sure that you're creating a plan that will help you to recover as much money, as much of your revenues as possible to get your company operational and back to your pre-disaster level or back to your pre-emergency level. So if you're using your technology wisely and you're using your current day plans, these plans need to be reviewed all the time, then you should be able to weather any storm. And that's no pun intended, not just our storms that we have. We noticed today that COVID was a very, very large storm. And if we were prepared a little bit better when, and embracing the technology that we have instead of always combating it and complaining about it, use the good parts of it and you will be able to overcome anything that happens. Things happen. It will happen. A lot of the times we can't avoid things from happening, but it's how we handle it when it happens. And having a plan, being prepared for unforeseen circumstances within your business is a very important thing in order for you to be successful in your business. And sometimes in order for you to be in business and not have a business failure completely. This is Sherron, the Modern Savvy CPA, and I thank you for listening and watching me, and I will talk to you next time on a next bad business habit that businesses can overcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, feel free to give me a follow to get updated on new and upcoming episodes, and listen in every Tuesday and Thursday, where I teach you smart money habits so you can make better money choices with a financial goal focus.